Hello, welcome to Local Anesthetic, your weekly injection of mind-numbing local news. My name is Alex, and joining us via Skype is Rob. How you doing there, Rob?
Hello, mate. Yeah, it's been a long week. Do you know what I was thinking, actually? It's Thursday today, and I've been home late every day so far, so it's going well.
Rob, can I just say, this is episode 301. Be excited, man. Come on, this is a journey. It's the next step.
It's just, after the celebration of episode 300, I realised we're on the downward spiral to episode 400 in, I don't know how many years, maybe 3 years, maybe? I don't know.
2 years. You'll notice as well, I brought back the old tagline upon was it Amy's request, your weekly injection of mind-numbing local news? Okay, well, it's back for now. And I would say to people look, we had loads of great feedback about last week's episode, didn't we, Rob? Everybody seemed to enjoy it. We enjoyed it. But I will say this. What listeners don't know, what only Rob and I know, and maybe a very, very small selection of other people close to us, is that there is a very dark secret to episode 300, an incredibly dark secret that, I'm so tempted to reveal it now, but I'm thinking, Rob, I'm going to tell the listeners, I will reveal what the dark secret is, and believe me, it is dark. I'll reveal it in 10 episodes' time. So on 310, we've got to remember, I will reveal it. And it is dark, isn't it, Rob? It
is, yeah. I mean, it's quite significant, especially when people are aware of it. I mean, I'll be curious to know if they can work it out, because...
well, let's say to the listeners, if you want to hazard a guess as to what that dark secret is, before episode 310, when I'll reveal it, please email us, post it on Facebook, tweet us, whatever you think that secret is, but I think it will surprise a lot of people. Anyway, Rob, we've got a lot to get on with, because you're back late, we're running for time. Yeah. Is there any news that's significant, or should we just crack on?
Just crack on, Alex. Just crack on.
Right, Rob. I'm starting us off here with a very, very... I'm not even going to read the story. I just want to update people. It doesn't need to be read, the story. But it's from the Times of Israel, with a paper we've never featured before.
Wow, okay.
Under their sort of section, Shit Happens. And this is true, and this is brilliant. And I'm just going to... The headline is, Facebook sorry for mistranslation of Xi Jinping's name, who is, of course, the great leader, Rob, of the Communist state of China. Did you hear about this?
I did hear about this, yes.
Yeah. First visit by Chinese leader to Myanmar in almost 2 decades is overshadowed by online translation from Burmese of president's name as, in quotes, Mr. Shithole.
Brilliant.
I think we'll leave that story there. And I don't want to comment further, Rob, because we don't want to incur the wrath of Chinese censorship.
Yeah, that's wise.
Oh, I just wanted to also say, because that nicely links on as well, Rob, so of course what's happened in the week with us deciding to allow, what is it? I can never say it. Huawei into our 5G infrastructure, which I think is a very short-sighted move.
Yeah, I agree, actually, but, we'll wait and see. Let's reserve judgment until China actually invades.
Well, yeah, because it'll be too late by then. But I just wish, Rob, that I was a headline writer, because I would have had it. Boris Johnson says it's... How do you say the company's name again? I can never remember it.
Huawei.
Boris Johnson says to Trump, it's my way or the Huawei. Get it?
Yeah, but the trouble is we know how that will play out, don't we? Let's be honest.
No, but that's bloody good, Rob.
Yeah, it is.
Instead of my way or the highway, it's my way or the Huawei. Come on, that is a fucking good headline.
It is. I'm not disagreeing with that.
I should have sold it to them. I don't know how I would have done that, though, because if I would have told it to them, they would have nicked it. But if I'd emailed them and said, I have a great headline for you, give me £200, I don't think that would have worked. Probably would have reported me to the police.
I wonder what the going rate is for a headline. I can't imagine it would be that much, to be honest.
You say that, Rob, but the episode titles that we have... For every episode, 300 are gold.
Yeah, true.
Pure gold. That's one thing I'm very proud of. Okay, let's move to the next story, Rob. This is extraordinary. It's from The Guardian, but not The Guardian as we know it. The Guardian.ng, which seems to be some sort of global version of The Guardian.
.ng, is that...
Anyway, it's in their...
Okay.
Huh?
What domain is that?
World section. I don't know. It's in their world section. But, I mean, I've seen this story elsewhere, but I've got to read it.
Oh, it's Nigeria, by the way, .ng.
That's it. Well, that would make sense with the story. Headline, Genetic makeup of 12-year-old Angolan boy in dispute, Rob. Are you intrigued?
Of course, yeah.
Good. The genetic makeup of a 12-year-old Angolan boy is now disputed by experts. After, get ready for this next sentence, Rob. After his deceased mother allegedly told him, before she died, I assume, that he is the offspring of a human-chimpanzee love affair.
Oh my God. Sorry, how old is this? How old is this boy?
12 years old.
And so he's been living with this secret that apparently he's the love child.
This dark secret. Like the dark secret from episode 300, Rob.
That's astonishing.
Can I just say, they are reporting this by way of another paper, which is the Gazeta Nacional, which is brilliant because that's our first sort of Nigerian local newspaper. Anyway, the story made national headlines and has unleashed an outpour of generosity towards Augusto Dembo, 12, who lives with his uncle and aunt in the capital city of Luanda. Although the young boy has become an instant celebrity, many experts dispute the claim that he is the product of sexual intercourse between a human and a chimpanzee.
Surely there would be some sort of telltale signs if that was the case.
Well, all genetic testing. Angola President I'm not going to say his name right. Anyway, the Angola President has already nicknamed the boy the Angolan Miracle Child, as well as praising the young man as a national treasure, a sign from God, and a testament to the majesty and greatness of the Republic of Angola. The discovery could even challenge the basic foundations of modern science. And that was a comment from the current Minister of Science and Technology.
Oh my God.
A spokesperson for the Parc National de Camia commented on the news by saying that they sincerely regret the loss of Anita Dembo, the boy's mother, but also condemned any inappropriate or sexual acts with any animals in the park. They say, any sexual interaction between employees or visitors of the park with animals is not encouraged behaviour under current park guidelines. Alan Ames, I hope you are listening. Can humans and... Hang on, Rob, they asked the question, can humans and chimpanzees mate and have babies? Is crossbreeding with animals possible? Will we see a hybrid chimp-human baby in the future? We don't know.
Why are they making this statement? I mean, it kind of adds legitimacy to this.
Apparently it does happen. But obviously there's no recorded case... It does happen, it says in the article, but there's no recorded cases, obviously, of anybody falling pregnant by it, and people are calling her claim into question. But as for the child's mother, it finishes, Anita Dembo, she allegedly entertained an affair with a chimpanzee that endured for many years, Rob, during her employment at the Parc National de Camia, where she has worked as a conservation officer since 1998. Well, she doesn't anymore because she's dead. But do you think she told him on her deathbed?
Alex, that's a slightly throwaway comment, but yeah.
I'm just clarifying, but do you think she said to him, Augusto, I need to tell you something as I'm dying on my deathbed. Your dad is a chimpanzee and we were having a loving, fruitful relationship for many years. Go find him.
Yeah.
Is that how she told him?
I'm assuming so long. I think she put... I mean, if it was that long a relationship, I'm assuming that she knew exactly which one it was. Maybe she... I don't know, maybe she opened her purse, then pulled out like a picture of the apron.
A photo.
Look, this is your father. I've been meaning to tell you. Unfortunately, there's been, I've had things on my mind and I never really got around to it. But go to him. He'll care for you now. Go and live on the nature reserve.
Right, let's move on from that, Rob, to an equally ridiculous but nevertheless legitimate story. This is from a website called Najatel.com from January the 9th, 2020. This is extraordinary.
How are you finding these stories?
That is another, Rob, very dark secret.
Right.
It's by NT Easy Don, whoever they are.
Alex, I'm sorry. We really have to question the legitimacy of this website. Where are you finding these stories?
Okay, hang on. Before I read this story out, then, Rob, I'm going to check its legitimacy because I think I do need to.
Well, only because of the reporter's name, Alex. That's my only concern.
No, it's absolutely true. Okay, right, here we go. This is a China-related story. Again, if the Chinese censors don't like it, you know what you can do. Headline. Chinese authorities seize 12 tons of beaver penises smuggled from Canada. Can I just say, Rob, 12 tons of beaver penises smuggled from Canada is a very nice episode title for episode 301.
It is. Yeah, I agree.
Right, Rob, this is extraordinary. Chinese, and I'm looking at a picture, by the way, of the haul. I cannot describe to you how massive this is. Anyway, Chinese customs officers have seized over 12 tons of illegally trafficked beaver genitals. 12 tons of illegally trafficked beaver genitals is probably better.
It is better, yeah.
In the country's biggest ever smuggling case involving animal parts, a total of 94 bags holding thousands of penises were each seized on board a Canadian ship transporting most wood products and minerals. Approximately 400,000 to 600,000 beavers must have been killed to produce 12.7 tons of penises, a Chinese news agency reports. According to state media, beaver penises are used in traditional high Chinese medicine to cure erectile dysfunction and increase sexual vigour.
I mean, first of all, it was tiger penises that I believe were supposed to have cured that. So I believe that, you know, as unfortunately the tigers slowly declined and edged ever closer to extinction, they've moved on to beavers. Which, I mean, I don't know how virile beavers are, but
very, Rob.
Yeah.
I can tell you that from experience.
Okay.
The Chinese general. I mean, look, I've got my copy over here of Beaver Monthly. Oh no, it's a different one.
Yeah, that's very. That's a very 70s magazine there, Alex.
Yeah, well, I collect them, as you know. The Chinese General Administration of Customs. I love that, Rob. The Chinese General Administration of Customs.
What a title!
I think we should set up our own department, the Local Anaesthetic General Administration of Customs.
I'm in. I mean, to be honest, I could use a bit more money, so you never know. It might bring something in.
There's no money involved, Rob, but just prestige.
Oh, okay. I'm not interested.
They gave a very long press conference this morning to justify why it seized what many Chinese perceive as legitimate medicine. I've got some quotes here that don't. I'm not sure how much sense they make. It's probably enough medicine to give an entire generation some erections worthy of bulls, but it comes from shady sources and could also be dangerous, they said. The investigation to identify the criminal organisation behind this smuggling operation is still underway, but it was dealt a serious economic blow today.
A serious economic blow? So obviously they're quite highly prized then.
Well, Rob, based on reported black market prices for the scales, the customs agency estimates the seized penises would be worth more than $24 million. China is by far well, that's what we should do, Rob. We will harvest beaver penises. We'll go to Canada and we'll do that for a living. You and me, out in the woods.
I mean, that seems like a lot
beaver
of effort.
jacks.
Is there no animal we could do that to here?
I'm a beaver jack and it's okay.
Is there no animals that we could do that to over here? Maybe a fox or, I don't know.
Cats.
Cats, yeah.
You've got 3, that's a good start.
I got 2, Alex. One died.
I apologise.
It was 4 years ago, but no, that's fine. You weren't to know, although I told you. Yeah, cats, dogs, foxes, rabbits, any old shit you can find in the field, really.
China is by far the world's largest market for animal parts trafficking. Not my words, Rob. The words of NT Easy Don.
Okay, great.
An expert's estimate, Rob, the market value of animal parts illegally imported on the Chinese market is between, guess. The market value.
Is that per penis?
No, like the total, I'll just tell you, 40 to 50 billion US dollars.
Oh, okay, I would never have got that. Okay.
Several species all over the planet face extinction because poachers overhunt them to satisfy the Chinese market. Not my words, the words of NT Easy Don, including rhinos, pangolins, and Siberian tigers.
No idea what that is.
Right, last story, Rob. Equally ridiculous. I'm sorry that none of my are authentic local news stories, but I just had to read them out. I'm working through a massive backlog here, I'll be honest. This is from, Rob, the New York Post.
Ooh.
This is a great story by Ben Cost. Headline. January 23rd, 2020. For the fastidious amongst you who like to keep a log of such matters, we are recording on the 30th of January, 2020. Are you ready, Rob?
I am.
I think you need to listen to this specifically. Doctors beg men, Rob, not to masturbate with banana peels.
Right. Why? I mean, first of all, why are they doing it? And second of all, what does it achieve? Well, I mean, apart from the fact,
and why are doctors warning them against it? Well, Rob, I'm going to answer you both questions. Doctors have warned horny young men to refrain from using banana peels to masturbate, the latest bizarre sex trend circulating on social media. It's the closest thing to a blowjob, wrote one randy Redditor, who claims he's been doing it for years. However, Dr. Diana Gill of prescription service Doctor4U cautions against the perverse practice. She says you could develop a rash and sores on the penis which can be painful and might lead to infection, and she told that to The Sun. And I don't know if that's our son or son they've got over there.
Okay.
Not only that, but she claims a person with a fruit or latex allergy could be more susceptible to a reaction from a banana skin. She says, a person with a banana allergy is more likely to be allergic to other substances such as latex or other fruits and vegetables, she said. So if you're allergic to latex condoms, you may also be allergic to banana skins. Go on, Rob.
I don't understand. What are they doing with these particular bananas? Are they holding them out and then using them as some sort of rudimentary fleshlight?
Yes.
Oh,
Jill
right, okay.
is right, yeah, exactly. Jill is not the only naysayer. One Redditor who'd done this recounted a harrowing cautionary tale where, in his words, Rob, I used a banana skin to masturbate and ended up falling in the mess I made, hit my head on the toilet and barely lived to tell the tale.
I'm assuming that's an ironic, not ironic, but a sarcastic comment.
I have no idea. However, supporters of the organic orgasm inducer, wow, that's a good organic orgasm inducer. Feel it's too good to pass up.
Can I just say that is a great album title?
Yes, it really is. It would have been in the 70s. Subscribers to Rob. Listen, I've never heard of this website, but it sounds brilliant. Subscribers to Jackin World, the self-proclaimed in quotes ultimate. Self-proclaimed open quotes ultimate male masturbation resource. So there's a website you can look up, Rob. Gave the Banana Man, as they call it, 4.5 out of 5 stars with 359 votes cast so far. The site also provided a tutorial on how to perform the sex act and even advised warming the peel for added effect. So if you warm up the peel in the microwave, Rob.
Who is going on this website? I don't know, Alex. Maybe
male masturbation enthusiasts, Rob.
I mean, that's as far as I'm aware, that's all men. But I have never once felt that I needed to go onto the website or go onto the internet to find tips on how to masturbate.
But Rob, I can see in your eyes you're intrigued by this hot banana peel idea.
No, I've got my own fruit, which I don't want to go into now. But can I just say that a peach is a very tender lover.
It's very small, but okay. Commenters seconded these sentiments. I have used the banana skin technique occasionally for many years. In brackets, I'm now 78. So there you go, Rob.
Okay.
The bigger the banana, the better, added another. Banana peels aren't the first unconventional items employed by pleasure seekers, Rob. This past November, gynecologists warned women not to masturbate with electric toothbrushes because it could cause trauma to the delicate vulval area. And that's probably the first and last time I'll ever use that collection of words on this podcast.
Yeah, that's probably fair.
Okay, Rob, you got some stories for us there.
Yeah, in a change to our schedule, I'm going to feature a story from the local paper because I thought we need at least one an episode. So this
Rob, the death of local news journalism is not my fault.
No, true. So this is actually from before Christmas. It's from the 16th of December. It's by Charlie Wilson from the Grimsby Live.
We've never had that paper.
No, I think it's a new paper.
How did you find it?
Sorry?
How did you find this story?
I heard about it on a podcast, actually.
Okay, right, fine.
So the headline: the tall ghost in fancy dress who multiple witnesses say is haunting this Scunthorpe Road.
You don't normally hear the height of a ghost mentioned.
No. Well, this particular podcast, which also features, which actually featured a conversation with the gentleman in question, said that apparently the ghost was between 12 to 15 feet.
A tall bastard, then.
Yeah, very much so. So, have you seen or heard about the ghost of Scotter Row?
No.
According to Dr. Rob Gandy, who works as a health statistician and travels around the UK cataloguing paranormal events, our Steel Town could be home to one of the most notorious ghosts in the north of England.
What a job he has, Rob. If he makes a living from this, good luck to him, because that's the sort of thing I'd love to do. Can you imagine, Rob, just travelling around the country hearing people's crazy fucking stories?
But again,
by the way, did you hear that Derek Acora had died?
Yeah, it was over about 2 weeks ago, wasn't it, I think? Very sad times.
I'm just wondering if he foresaw it or not.
Yeah, good question. I doubt it. I mean, I don't want to call him a charlatan because that would be unfair, but yeah, I've got nothing.
Rob, get on with the story. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So the ghost is reported to roam the stretch between the viaduct and the junction with West Common Lane, and is said to have appeared to multiple witnesses as a very tall figure in fancy dress walking along the road before disappearing. Dr. Gandy said the spooky figure's presence came to light after he recently asked for testimonies about the so-called Riskington Horror, an apparition seen for decades on the Lancashire stretch of the A15 north of Sleaford, which was popularised by television presenter Richard Madeley in 1998.
I want to track down that fucking footage. Oh my God. And if anybody's interested, we've got a great video on YouTube of a comparison of... We had a story once by Richard Madeley where he sounded exactly like Alan Partridge. Go and check it out.
Yeah, so that's the Ruskington Horror, apparently, that he popularised. Responses suggested paranormal activity in Lincolnshire, including the Scotter Road ghost and a faceless man near a lake in Boltham Park in Lincoln. He believes that both involve phenomena which could have been experienced by more people and would like to find out if there are any witnesses. Dr. Gandy said after recently inviting testimonies about personal road ghost experiences in the A15 north of Sleaford.
Stop. Personal... What is it? Personal
road ghost experiences in the A15 north of Sleaford. Which is so beautifully specific.
Yeah, it is. It's a very niche book title.
Yeah. I'm pleased to say that a good number of people have been in touch with me to describe what happened to them. Their stories range from the puzzling to the completely bizarre.
Well, Rob, I've got to be honest, so far in this story, I've got no idea what's going on. I want to know, what have people seen?
Right.
I don't understand.
So, Dr. Gandy has said that multiple witnesses...
Sorry, Dr. Gandy?
Yeah, Dr. Rob Gandy.
Is it spelt like Mahatma Gandhi?
No, it's Y on the end, not I.
Dr. Gandy.
But also, he's got very straight, because obviously he's a health statistician, and also...
That sounds a made-up job, doesn't it, Rob?
Well,
Come on.
It does, but he's obviously got a doctorate in something, God knows what.
Has he? Anybody can call himself doctor, you can just make it up.
Yeah, that's
Dr.
true.
Rob. That would be a new segment for this show, Dr. Rob. Ask him, you could be an agony aunt.
Yeah, fair enough. Well, Dr. Gandy said he had multiple witness accounts of what appeared to be someone in fancy dress and walking along Scotter Road in Scunthorpe at night. Clearly visible in the street light, it was assumed that whoever or whatever it was must have been on stilts because it was so tall. The witnesses were said to have watched it for around 3 minutes before it disappeared in an inexplicable way. Since then, they've heard other talks about seeing a similar person in fancy dress, with one saying they thought that they had run someone over, only to find there was no one there.
I can't take any more of this. They thought it was a man on... Maybe it was a ghost on stilts.
Well, that's what they're saying. Is it was obviously a phenomena on stilts. Initially, I saw on the podcast that I was listening to, he said that he didn't want to reveal what the fancy dress costume was, just so then he could verify people coming forward if they can then identify what the costume was.
Honey Monster.
No, there's no indication of that. If anyone does want to contact him, he's kindly given his email address, which is gandy31 at ntlworld.com. So if you want to get in contact, please do.
Let the avalanche of hate mail begin.
So my second story this week is from the Orange County Register, which again is a new paper that we've featured before. Orange County, I'm assuming, California.
Yeah, which is California, right? Okay.
It's by Brady McDonald from the 21st of January, so only a few days ago. And the headline: Burly Disneyland visitor pulls Excalibur from Sword in the Stone.
I have read this story.
Oh, have you?
Interestingly, I was going to feature it, but passed up on the opportunity.
Oh.
But I did love the story just because I had too many other things. But it's great for the list. I mean, it is. Sorry, I'll let you read it because it's just.
It is great.
It reminds me of Competitive Dad from the Fast Show.
Yeah.
But anyway.
So a burly and buff dude known only as Sam removed the Sword in the Stone before stunning visitors at Disneyland in a feat legend holds can only be accomplished by the new king.
Now, as I remember from my visit there is so just to give people the context, there is a sword in a stone based on T.H. White's book. My dad, by the way, is a big fan of T.H. White and has a huge and collects his books. But he wrote The Sword in the Stone. which Disney later made into a movie. And of course, but the Sword and the Stone goes back to the legend of King Arthur.
Yes.
And whoever can pull the sword from the stone will become king. You know, the sword is lodged in there. So they've got this sword in the stone, which obviously you're not meant to be able to pull out. I mean, it's in there so that, you know, nobody can do it. But I think there's a sort of challenge and people stand there and try and get it out. But of course, it's impossible, as I remember it.
Oh, yeah, exactly that. So basically, the sword is, I think in this case, is actually encased in an anvil. Anyway, so a guest was able to pull a prop version of the legendary Excalibur sword from an anvil next to the King Arthur carousel in Fantasyland, according to Disney's cast members. Disneyland officials could not confirm the incident. So, Disney's Excalibur was first reported missing from the stone on January 12th by WDW News. A follow-up story the next day reported that the sword had mysteriously returned and included an eyewitness account of how Excalibur had been pulled from its resting place by the new king of Disneyland.
I have to say, Rob, your story that you're reading is much better than the version I read, because mine had hardly any detail, so I'm appreciating this.
Oh, good. Okay. A close advisor to the new king of Disneyland told WDW News today that my friend Sam broke the sword during a visit on January 8th. He literally ripped it out. It was his first time at Disneyland, and he's a pretty buff dude. I told him he pulled it out, he'd win a prize, and he just used brute force, I guess.
Not a euphemism.
No. Disneyland employees took the broken and jagged Excalibur and taped over the hole in the anvil to keep visitors from cutting their fingers on the broken blade of the sword, according to eyewitnesses.
I'd love it if Disney security had just shot him on sight.
Yeah, he just presented a clear and present threat and they just killed him.
Yeah, crazed lunatic rips sword from stone. Because obviously what I believe is that it's not possible to rip it out because there's no complete sword, if you know what I mean.
No,
what he just basically did is just broke it. Can you imagine going like I'd love it if he's just with his kid and he's like, I'm going to fucking do this. He's there sweating and panting and just rips it out.
I don't know why, but I just imagine it's a child. It's obviously just quite a well-built child. I don't know why I imagined it was an adult.
No, it's an adult, Rob. It's not a child. An adult did this, which makes it even more disturbing.
No, it doesn't actually say, yeah. So, another eyewitness told WDW News today that they watched a very burly man remove the sword from the stone.
Not a child, Rob.
No. At first, it seemed as though he had pulled it out, but a cast member quickly came over because, in fact, he had broken it.
So he didn't succeed, actually. So he's not the king of Disneyland. Because that'd be great, isn't it? If you successfully manage to remove the sword from the stone, Bob Iger gets sacked and you get his job, head of Disney CEO.
Yeah, one of the cast members literally pulls out a contract, and you sign the contract, and they hand over the keys to the park there and then.
Yeah, brilliant.
Yeah. So that's it. Yeah. Right. I'd just like to say, all hail the new king of Disneyland.
Indeed. What is it? Oh yeah, the king of Disneyland is dead. Long live the king. Now, Rob, I promised last week, and I promised Jack, that I would read this story from the Tokyo Reporter.
Lovely.
And he said he said in his email to us that this story was a gem, that it went way back, and it was just the detail of it, and it is right. It's a love story, really, Rob. I think.
Okay.
It is. It's a romantic story, and I'm just going to read. It's very long, so what I've done is I've pulled out the sort of selected bits that I think are worth reading out.
Now, in true Tokyo Reporter style, are we talking? I mean, is it salacious and scandalous?
Oh yes.
Oh, brilliant.
It's by Roland
Rat.
Shishijo from November the 1st, 2017, and the headline: Japan's jump in foreign tourists pleasing housewives seeking affairs.
Right.
So, Tokyo, Rob. Foreign visitors are flocking to Japan in greater numbers than ever before, in what's proving to be a boon for the nation's tourism industry. One trend that particularly stands out is Japanese women singling out foreigners to engage in extramarital affairs, muses Business and Finance Weekly Toyo Kizuya. So, are you ready, Rob? A 39-year-old woman's tale. And as I say, Rob, this is really a tale of romance. A 39-year-old woman going by the name of Masami Caruso tells The Weekly that she was driven to cheat on her husband, Rob, of over 10 years after what she said was a sexual drought of some 5 years.
Right.
Because he was busy with the banana peels, you see.
Yeah, of course.
Caruso, who earns some 8 million yen a year running a food import company, says they have a daughter in middle school who is hardly bothered by her carousing at night. When it comes...
Okay.
Don't hear that word often.
No.
When it comes to foreign tourists, she says, it's basically a one-night love affair. I got hooked on this 3 years ago. I had all this pent-up frustration after my husband started suffering from erectile dysfunction. He should be eating...
Beaver penises, yeah.
Beaver penises, yeah, we can recommend that. And so she says, I was drinking all the time with a man I knew, but we never went all the way to a physical relationship. But that changed, Rob, while she was out wandering in Golden Gai in Tokyo's Shinjuku ward after a night of drinking. She says, I got hit on by this handsome Swiss guy who said he was a cop. Can I say I love that, Rob? I absolutely love that. A Swiss guy. Can you do a Swiss accent? If I could say, what do you do for a job?
No, in all honesty.
Okay, so what do you do for a job? And he says, I'm a cop.
I am a cop? No, I don't know what that is. That's not Swiss, though. Carry on, Alex.
Rob, please. We started getting involved from that day on, and that's what opened me up to this world. Prostitutes frequented Golden... Yeah. Prostitutes frequented Golden Gai until they were banned from the area after the anti-prostitution law took effect in 1958. Boasting a teeming nightlife with hundreds of tiny bars and eateries, the seedy area emerged as a tourist hotspot in 2009 after earning 2 stars in the Michelin Green Guide Japan. Golden Gai continues to attract tourists eager to soak up the retro vibes found in its dense, sprawling alleyways. Foreigners don't like cover charges, she says, so I go alone to places that claim to have no charges. Then when one of them tries to snap a picture, I'd close the distance by being like, hey, take a picture, Caruso said. I can barely speak English, but for now I'm pretty much in a win every battle sort of situation. What's attractive about physical relationships with foreign men is just how different the whole process is depending on the country. The Swiss cop was young with blue eyes and blonde hair, but you know, I was surprised to find that his hair down there was blonde too.
It's a nice insight.
The blonde-pubed cop, Rob.
Wow, what a story.
Anyway, the next strapline is conquering over 18 countries. Standing over 170...
So what is this article?
Wait. Standing over 170 centimetres, Caruso has a strikingly attractive appearance, just not, as she says, to the typical Japanese man. Your average guy would get cold feet if they saw me, Caruso laughed. My husband is all about height, so he proposed to me saying he loved tall women. But you know, if you look at Japanese men, you'll see how they like small, cute girls who are thin and young. So I'd always end up on the sidelines. But foreigners aren't like that. There are Germans and Australians who like big and strong women. Then there are French and Spanish ones who won't turn down whatever comes their way.
Okay.
It's a massive generalisation about the French and the Spanish, surely.
Yeah, really is.
This is just my view, but you can picture your heart's content when it comes to your plaything. Caruso says she's been involved with men from over 18 countries so far and doesn't limit herself to just Golden Gai. Caruso says that foreign men usually take the initiative and put on condoms, a sentiment shared by another woman who identified herself as Noriko Nakamura, 45. She works at a foreign insurance company and has 2 kids in middle school with her husband of the same age. She says, foreigners will admire the body of even a 45-year-old woman, and they put on condoms. How do I find people? Well, I use a dating app called Happen, which has a location service. It's a pretty recent app made in France, and it shows you the details of anyone you cross paths with on your timeline. It all started when I was at a disco in Roppongi for a work party. I started feeling good while I was dancing and drinking, and suddenly I was having relations with an Australian man at a hotel he was staying at. As you do, Rob.
We've all been there.
Yeah. And just to finish this very interesting story by the Tokyo Reporter, both women said interactions in bed prompted them to start learning English, which even then came in handy for them at work. And the journalist chooses to make a sort of wants to wrap this up in a Jerry Springer style way, I feel, with some sort of moral lesson. Just says, it probably goes without saying, but the lifestyles being led by Nakamura and Caruso are hardly worthy of praise. Still...
What a bizarre story.
Still, these high-income wives apparently have no intentions of breaking up their families, reasoning that if they're going to play with fire, there's less risk going with foreign men who have come from afar. And can I just say, Rob, Foreign Men Who Have Come From Afar is a very nice episode title.
It is, yeah. It's although it conjures up pictures for me, but that's neither here nor there, so let's move on.
Okay, Rob, unless I'm jumping the gun, It is time for our listener story of the week. And who's it from?
It is. So it's once again from Amy. I know.
Oh, so it's Amy's slot, is it? Oh, sorry, Amy's segment.
Yeah, well, technically, yeah.
Amy's segment.
And once again, it's a new paper that we're featuring on the podcast. So
come on! What is
this
it?
Is
it English?
It is English. So
let me guess the region. Give me the first letter of the region.
Region difficult. I think it seems to be town specific.
Okay, give me the first letter of the town.
B.
B.
Yeah.
No. Bermondsey.
No. No.
I'm out.
Okay. It's a Barrow-in-Furness.
Yeah, we would have been here literally for the end of my life trying to get that, Rob.
Oh, I know, Alex. I'm aware.
No, I mean literally.
Yeah. I don't.
Even if I'd been the oldest living human and lived to like 120, we would literally never have got there.
Okay, that's interesting.
I mean, yeah, no, I've never heard of that place, and maybe a map we would have got there eventually, but it would have been painstaking. But never mind. Okay, great.
I think I would. I don't actually know where Barrow-in-Furness is. Actually, to be completely honest, I know it's up north, and I think it's either Northumbria or Cumbria.
You're wrong, Rob. It's not up north. I'll tell you where it is. It's towards Maidstone. I know because me and my family used to go there every month on a trip. Just to a local pub in our Vauxhall Labrador.
Right. Just because, I mean, that was a fantastic lie, but let's just see where it is, just in case we have any listeners from Barrow-in-Furness. It is in Cumbria. There we go. It's a town in Cumbria, northwest England. Historically, it's obviously part of Lancashire. And
I want to go there now, Rob. I do. There.
It looks bleak.
Shit.
Yep.
Okay, right. Okay, come on then.
Yep. So, the story is by, oh God, how do you pronounce that? By George Lithgow, I think that's it. I think that's how you pronounce it. George Lithgow from the 28th of January, so quite hot off the press. A headline: Police called out over fears a gorilla was on the loose in Barrow.
Do you know what's really weird about this, Rob? You must have had it. Before you laugh at me, right? I think everybody out there listening to this has experienced this phenomenon. You're on your lunch break or you're taking a bit of time out and you maybe go onto YouTube and you're watching some video and you see a video like on that right sidebar and you click on it and maybe you then click on another video and you end up caught in this sort of 20 minutes of watching videos about things you had no interest in doing beforehand.
Yes. Yep.
But you realise and then you have to snap yourself out of it and think, what am I doing? I spent half an hour today on my lunch break watching videos of gorillas.
I did not think that's where this was going. I
really did.
And going back to your first story,
I watched a thing about this this sort of charity who looks after gorillas and the relationship they have with this gorilla, and that was very charming.
Can I just say, when you say relationship, we're not talking about...
No.
Okay.
And then I watched more videos of that ilk, and then I watched videos of like gorillas doing human-like things. And then, as the human mind goes to, Rob, as it always goes to darkness, I found myself then putting into Google search bar, gorillas attacking humans. After seeing all this lovely relationship stuff, I thought, let's put it in. And I put it in, and of course I got that thing of... Do you remember that time? It was maybe a couple of years ago when that boy fell into an enclosure and the gorilla was throwing it around like a ragdoll and they had to shoot it. Then I started watching that. Then I watched another actually really interesting video where a different child had fallen into a gorilla enclosure and he was not completely knocked unconscious because it was quite a fall, but then he woke up and everybody was screaming at him not to move, but the gorilla sort of touched him and sort of left him alone and took all the gorillas off sent them off into their encampment, and they left him to be rescued. And I watched a pensioner jump down into this gorilla enclosure, Rob. I don't know how he didn't break his legs. And then I thought, Alex, for fuck's sake, that's half an hour of your life you're never going to get back. But I learned something, Rob.
I mean, it's been a very long day, and I'm quite tired. And to be honest, I don't know what to do with that.
Well, I'll just say gorillas.
Good. Okay. Well, that's a nice starting point, and also a segue back into the article. So, chaos was caused in Barrow after a member of the public called the police after spotting what he thought was a gorilla on the loose.
But it was, in fact, a gorilla ghost, so everything was all right.
It was a 12-foot gorilla ghost.
Okay, here's a challenge. Can any listener out there find a story where somebody reports seeing a gorilla ghost?
let's go one step further, because I think it's very rare, and maybe horses, but we get very few ghost animals. If you can find...
You're absolutely right, Rob. If there are ghosts, why are there so few ghost animals? That is a brilliant question. Why don't people see ghost animals?
Yeah.
It's always a person on stilts or whatever it is. Also, I'd like to know, has anybody... Because we know about people who've had sexual relations with ghosts. Has anybody had sexual relations with a ghost gorilla?
What a fantastic question. Yeah,
thank you.
Or any ghost animal for that matter. I mean, obviously not too explicit. We want to keep it at a decent level.
Maybe I'll ring into Mystery Hour, James O'Brien's Mystery Hour, and I'll ask that question. I don't think they'll let me through.
Yeah, I'm not sure he's putting that question on the board, Alex. To be honest.
Nah.
So the police arrived in Ironworks Road to find there was actually a man dressed as a gorilla to promote him a bingo night, which is due to take place next month.
Of course it fucking was. Have we even got any gorillas in the UK, Rob? I'm not talking naturally, obviously not. Do we have any in zoos? I don't believe we do.
We do, yeah. There's some in London Zoo.
Eagle Heights?
Well, I mean, they're not there illegal. They're not there. Well, I'm actually, I'm not going to finish that comment. I don't believe.
I reckon Eagle Heights, they just dress people up as gorillas, Rob, and put them very far in a distance. Yeah, that's a gorilla over there. One of the videos I watched... Hang on, Rob. One of the videos I watched today, Rob, was the BBC put this robot gorilla, yeah, which they'd mocked up to look like a real gorilla with hair and everything, in a real gorilla enclosure to see how the gorillas responded to it. And he could sort of move his eyes and kind of vaguely do this. But Rob, he looked really fucking shit. And then in the end, one of the kid gorillas came over to play with it and ended up like knocking him over. And of course, then the gorilla couldn't move. And I think the kid gorilla thought he killed it. It looked rather sheepish and just disappeared.
Right.
Maybe I'll watch more gorilla videos tomorrow.
Alex, please don't. So the scared caller was thought to have told the police there was a gorilla prowling the streets in Barrow. The gorilla named Nigella.
I want to hear that call. I want to hear that 999 call.
So the gorilla named Nigella is used to promote multiple bingo nights across the north of England.
What the fuck does a gorilla have to do with bingo?
I mean, it's a good question. Yeah, it doesn't. There's no direct correlation that I can think of. The man who runs these events, Andy Robinson, believes they are usually well received and said it did not go well in this particular case. He wanted to stress that their intention was not to waste police time. Witnesses to the incident claim the gorilla was conducting lewd behaviour in the road.
Like what? I know, he was masturbating with a banana peel.
Can I just say that they've also attached a picture of the gorilla, and basically, I don't know whether this was directly as a result of the call, but there is a picture of the police officer standing on a traffic island talking to a gorilla in a tutu on a mobility scooter.
Rob, give me the fucking headline now.
Police called over fears a gorilla was on the loose in Barrow.
Right, hang on, I have to see this. I've got it now. Wait, I have to see this. Yes, there is a pic. How could it, Rob? I'm sorry, you should have asked me to look at this. Right, I am now looking at a picture of a female police officer in this rather bleak area called Barrow, talking to a clearly human in a very shit gorilla suit, wearing a full neck to sort of knee tutu, sitting on an electric scooter. Who the fuck sees that, calls the police and says, I've seen a gorilla? Is that not a prank call, Rob?
It must
be.
What,
a gorilla wearing a tutu?
Can I just point out to the listeners as well, so the mobility scooter that the gorilla's riding is also pulling along the sign to the bingo. Can you see that?
Yes.
There should be 4 pictures.
Right, Rob, I'm now looking at a bigger picture. The gorilla, I need to tell people, is also wearing sunglasses and has pink rollers in her hair. It's wearing black Adidas sneakers, is on a mobility scooter, sorry, not an electric scooter, has a very gaudy, lurid pink top on. It is clearly not... I'll tell you what it looks like, Rob.
Yeah.
This looks to me like Timmy Mallet having a nervous breakdown. He's got into a gorilla costume, a tutu, a mobility scooter, and he's just driving around the streets of the UK. Would you agree?
Yeah, absolutely.
Sorry, Timmy, I'm just saying, because it kind of, I don't know, there was a resemblance.
So the Who's Bingo organiser said it was a costume for Nigella the gorilla that we used for promotion of our events. We got told that someone had called the police. The next thing I knew, there were 2 police cars coming around the corner at speed. They were followed by an armed police unit as they thought it was a real gorilla.
Oh my God, I'd love it if they shot it. I'd love it if they shot it.
Could you imagine that?
Like proper, like many rounds, you know.
The police said that we were not doing anything wrong, but we should be more cautious in the future. So it came to nothing in the end, and we just laughed it off, really. We do this for promotion to get a reaction, but obviously the last thing we want to do is waste police time. We set off from Leeds at 4 a.m. to get to Barrow in the hope of catching the BA workers for our bingo event. I mean, this is really as bleak
Rob,
now.
can you please put the picture of the gorilla with the rollers and the pink tutu, the close-up, on Facebook so people can see that how anybody could mistake this for even a passing resemblance to a real gorilla is ridiculous.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I will post that once the episode's up.
Thank you, Amy. Thank you for letting us into your segment again. It's been a very interesting journey. On that bombshell, Rob, we do leave this episode of Local Anaesthetic we bring this episode of Local Anaesthetic to a close, and we look forward with a mixture of eager anticipation, yet some degree of trepidation, to our next episode, which will be episode 302. My God, 302. And we can be found on our website, lapodcast.net. We're on Facebook at facebook.com/LApodcast. We're on Twitter at LApodcast. We're on Spotify. We're on all the podcast app, whether it's Android or iPhone. And what we want you to do is subscribe to us, leave us a review. All that kind of stuff helps us. On our website, lapodcast.net, there is a donate button in the top right-hand corner. If you want to set up a rolling donation or just leave us a tip, as it were, because, we do this episode for free and it takes up a lot of bloody time. If you want to do that, we'd really appreciate it. But, really, Rob, we do it because people love it, and we love it too, don't we, Rob?
We do, yeah.
And on that note, I'm sorry to say there will be no spelling out the word anaesthetic according to a theme this week. That's because Rob returned home late, not his fault, and we are really running against the clock. But what we would like you to do is submit some themes if you still want us to continue reading out the word anaesthetic according to a theme. Submit some more themes. Didn't we have some already, Rob, that we haven't used?
We
need to pick out the best ones, don't we?
Yeah, I'll have a look again.
Yeah. Okay. And we'll be back in a week's time with more Local Anaesthetic, the most trusted name in local news. That's where I can put the other strapline so that it bookends, Rob.
Nice.
Yeah, good. Okay, God bless.
And keep it local.